what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to put a new stereo into your Chevy pickup. I'm specifically using my 97 Chevy Silverado, but this is the same process for a 1995 through 1999 Chevy or GMC pickup, Suburban, Yukon, Tahoe, whatever you have. Also a 1999 and 2000 year model Cadillac Escalade, as well as possibly some of the Astro vans. I'm not really sure because I don't have a van, but if your dash looks like the one that I'm about to show you, then it's probably the same process. So step one is disconnect your battery. You'll see plenty of tutorials on changing out radios where they don't disconnect the battery and nothing bad happens, but I figure better safe than sorry. Might as well just disconnect that negative terminal, and then you don't have to worry about anything. All right, so the first thing we need to do is tilt the steering wheel all the way down, pull your cup holder out, and then this is literally just pressure fit, so you can pull this right out, just like that. And one thing to be aware of is your cargo lamp light, and if you have the electronic transfer case, you need to unplug those wires. I'll show you from a different angle here, but this just very easily pops out so that you can gain access to the stereo as well as the CD deck. So once you have your dash popped out like this, you just want to turn your key on, get your automatic shifter out of the way. That way you can take this whole thing and you'll just wiggle this and finesse it a little bit. It comes up out of the way. And here's those wires that I was telling you about. So they're right back there. And those are just simple electrical connections that you can just disconnect with your hands. You shouldn't need a screwdriver or anything like that. So after you disconnect those wires, you'll also have the headlight wires over here, but my dash is broken, so I don't have to worry about that. If yours isn't broken, it's pretty easy to just take this whole thing and you can just kind of angle it out of the way. But since mine's broken, I can just take the whole piece off. And now we have access to the radio. So now looking at your stock radio, you'll have these two tabs. One right there and one on the other side just like it. To get this radio out, all you do is press down on each tab and pull the stereo straight out. So once you pull this out, you'll have all of your connections in the back. And it's just as simple as disconnecting all of that and hooking it up to the new one. So there's the old stereo out. You just have your electrical connection. If you have an external CD player like this, that's what this is for. And then the antenna just simply unplugs. Each one of these connectors has a push down button, and there's not a lot of room back here, but it's pretty easy to disconnect. So next you can take out the CD player, and it comes out the same way as the radio did. It's got two tabs right here. So you just press down on those, they slide right out. And then it has the same connector on the back of this as you have up here. So you just push down on the tab, and it pops right out. And now that you have these big gaping holes, you will need to buy adapters so that the new CD player will fit in this big hole, and then you can get an adapter that turns this area into a little storage compartment, and I'll link what those are down below so that you guys can get them. They're like 10 bucks a piece. So here's what the new CD player looks like inside the adapter. You can see on the side it has the same springy clips, so that way it just goes right into the dash. Now we'll just connect this up with the wiring harness and slide her back in. So you can get a wiring harness through an auto parts store or Walmart or pretty much anywhere, but if you go through Crutchfield, they'll give you the wiring harness plus the adapter so that it works with your new stereo, and then they'll actually do all the wiring for you, so it's really easy. So I highly suggest going through Crutchfield. The other thing you'll need is an adapter for your antenna. Alright, so when it comes to hook up the wiring harnesses, the easiest way to do this is hook everything up to the truck and then hook up the stereo to that. And this is just a simple connection, just like how the old one was. And then you hook up your antenna adapter. And this is just a simple plug-in. Hook up your wiring harness to your new CD player. And now everything just gets stuffed back into here. There we go. So now that the new stereo's in, it's probably a good idea to hook up the battery, turn everything on, make sure it works before you put the dash back together. And my record button didn't want to work when I went to show this the first time. But the stereo does work, and so I went ahead and put the dash back together. It's really self-explanatory. It just goes back in reverse order of how it was off. So there's not really anything to see there. The only thing to note, I guess, about putting the dash back together is before I did so, I did clean up underneath here, cleaned up around the gauge cluster a little bit, around the heater, and really just did a little bit of housekeeping because it's a lot easier to do with this dash cover off. And I will have a couple more videos coming out soon with how to change out the speakers in the rear pillar as well as door speakers for this truck, so stay tuned for those. As for the actual stereo install, I would give it a 2 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. It's actually a very simple job, and I think it looks better than the stock radio. So if you guys have any questions pertaining to that, just leave them down in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.